All right, what's up, guys? It's Justin Kahn back with another Fractal Radio episode where we cover the most interesting crypto games and their founders and founding stories. And today I'm here with Leo and Tyron from Nekoverse. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin, for hosting us.
Awesome. So let's just get started with tell us the quick 30-second pitch on what's Nekoverse, what's the game you're building, what kind of game is it? Tell us about it.
Right. So very shortly, Nekoverse is a massive multiplayer online role-playing games that is built on Solana. And on the what makes Nekoverse different is it has, first of all, it has a quite a unique art style taking place in the fantasy world of Nekoverse with its own resident that are our characters. And what the more special it is also a turn-based combat system kind of MMORPGs where you have full customizability of your characters and your gameplay style. And also
Awesome.
we build Nekoverse with an open economy structures where players can basically do any kinds of economic activities within the game as how they envision it and basically run businesses and guilds within the game as well. And that is Nekoverse.
Sounds kind of all encompassing. So tell like what kind of turn-based combat system is this, like something like like Final Fantasy style or like Pokemon, or how's the gameplay gonna actually work?
Yeah, so we are all Pokemon lovers, the whole teams, the founder teams, and all the devs. So we took a lot of inspirations from Pokemon style systems, where your characters can learn a lot of skills, but then we have add on top a lot of elements that player can customize. Neko is actually like a classless system where players entering the games doesn't have to choose like a tank or a healers, but they can customize the stats of their Neko through equipment and skills so they can create their own playstyle basically with the different skills and different equipment and different consumable to determine their strength in combats.
Gotcha. And tell us, like, how did you come together to build this game? What's your guys' background? How did you start this company?
Right, so the entire team is come from various different backgrounds. I come from economics in management consulting and venture capitals. Um, Tyron here is built multiple consumer brands before and heavily focused on marketings and brandings, and he's also a chief of growth at the moment. And I have two other co-founders that also work with me during my venture capital world, and another one that launch and build tech products. And so when we look at the blockchain gaming space, we see a lot of new innovations in the space, but we also see there's a lot of things that can be improved upon. The gameplay experience for that can attract the traditional gamer as well, and also the sustainability of the token economies. And that's why we think it will be the prime time for us to really dig deep into the ecosystems and start building in the space. And that's how we banded together and create Nekoverse.
And what's your guys' gaming background? Why did you decide to make a game?
Right. So our big belief is in the metaverses and its open economy structures, right? Where you have a digital asset and you can build services and entertainment values out of that. And so we want to create an open world where people can freely exchange assets and can use that asset to its full potential, like have true asset utilities. And the form of driving the adoptions of that is through the form of the games, just like how the online game drive the adoption of internet back in the days. We strongly believe that blockchain games will drive the adoptions of metaverse. And so amongst our core teams, we are also have game developers, and throughout our discussions and brainstorming, we decided that this is the best way to drive adoption of the metaverse and creating an open economies is through creating and providing a platform that is in the form of an MMORPG game.
So that's cool. Like I agree with you. It seems like the world is, it's going to start with a game, but then it eventually might become much more than a game, right? Like
Yeah,
you could have see all sorts of different interactions and businesses that happen on top of these metaverse worlds. That's
Yep.
what I'm excited about. It
Me
sounds like you
too.
have the same vision. So, like, how do you think that's going to evolve though? Like on Nekoverse, it's going to start with this game, but then like, what are the first, other things that people are going to do in Nekoverse that, maybe are a little bit different from being just like simple gameplay?
Right. So basically, the economy architectures of Nekoverse is a player-driven economy where every items and resources are harvested and crafted by the players and sold to each other on through the marketplace system that are also owned by the players since they own the land that house the marketplaces. So basically, the sky is the limit for the entrepreneurship activities within the Nekoverse. They can run basically an entire logistic system of getting the right resources to craft the right items and sell them to the right people that want them in Nekoverse. So that is the freedoms of economic system within Nekoverse that we want to enable, and that's also serve as a form of an example for future metaverse services where people can establish new kinds of services running on top of metaverse, and that is definitely our visions and we want to enable that.
What are the kinds of, the new kinds of services that you think people will build? Like a logistics service. That's really interesting. It's like you'll set up all these parameters in your game where, you need different resources to participate some way or craft items or whatever. And then what you're saying is like there will be opportunities for people to build their own businesses on top of that, those kind
Yeah.
of like core inputs and outputs. What are the type of service business or businesses or otherwise that you see people creating?
um, are we talking on the perimeter of Nekoverse? So basically, right,
Yeah,
for example, where you have a raid party in a guild that want to venture in a very dangerous regions, and they have a lot of demands for certain sets of equipments for their characters to form the teams. So they can put an order out into the markets that said, "Hey, all the craftsmen, we want a certain numbers of equipment manufacturers." So that kind of business owners, the guild are the guilds that in charge of utility craftings can take in that orders and order all the resources from other players and start building and delivering that orders. So that is just one of the example that is kind of an entrepreneurship activities within Nekoverse. Or there are probably merchants as well. They can buy buy resources in bulk and then they can trade them for other players or guilds that have needs for them. That is kind of arbitrage opportunity within Nekoverse.
gotcha. Cool. And so you think that there will be people who are kind of working as their job inside of Nekoverse or, participating in the economy, and that's like their primary way of, generating income?
Yeah, that is one of the possibility that we want to enable for players. Um, we want to create a world where people can engage in the game how they want and not only limited to only the battle system that gives out the rewards. We want people in Nekoverse to engage in the game at their own pace and suit their style and their play style. Some people are very focused on battles. Some people just want to wander around the world and harvesting resources.
Gotcha. Yeah, it reminds me of like, early players in the days of like World of Warcraft or RuneScape or, there were people who were kind of farming
Yeah,
items as like and that was like their main, they were making money off of it,
yeah,
Most players were playing for fun and then some players were playing, for this other, for economic reasons.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess that's like a similar, like you guys must have been inspired by a lot of that, kind of like
Yeah.
a lot of those early games, right?
Yeah, right. We grew up with a lot of MMO titles, World of Warcraft, RuneScapes, and a lot of that have inspired us to create what we want to do today. And especially with the help of blockchains, right? We can turn these kind of in-game transactions to have real monetary values that can directly translate it to the players' incomes. That is the the upsides of applying blockchain technologies to a games.
Gotcha. Cool. So what's coming up for Nekoverse? When are you launching the game? Like what's the roadmap look like?
Definitely. So, one of the biggest milestone that is coming up for Nekoverse is our second NFT offering. So, our characters are broken down into three elemental classes: Origin Quad, Ancient Triad, and Void Dyad. So, we've had the first NFT offering by the end of December. So, March the 6th, proudly will be presenting the second NFT drop, which is in collaborations and partnership with Fractal on your Launchpad. So after having hosted the second NFT offering, we're looking at multiple other community-driven activities within our Discord and our Twitter.
Taryn is sharing about our token offerings, um, which will happens in this year, and by the end, by quarter 3 of this year, we'll be launching the first module of the games. Since the full MMO RPG experience takes a lot of content to build, so we break down the game into smaller phases, smaller module, and release it them by parts. So the first module of the game will be the battle modes, where people can start using the Neko to learn more about the battle mechanics of the Nekoverse. And then in 2023, we'll release the full world explorations and resource harvesting and item crafting features later on. And in 2023, play will also carry out land sale where people can actually own lands in Nekoverse to start the land development phase.
Cool. So tell us about your community. How have you engaged a community that's interested? Have you gotten people interested in Nekoverse and excited about it?
Right. So the way that we grew our community is also we took quite a pride in growing our communities from day ones. We grew very fast from 0 to about 30,000 people members in just shy of 2 months, and we did that all by introducing people to the lore and the possible items within Nekoverse later on that intrigue people about the concept, about the world, and the NFT character that is both cute and ferocious, and people love that. So we decided from day one that we want to be a community-driven games. By that, we not only means growing the community with the help of the community members, but also allowing them to participate in the game development itself. And the way we do that is we open up Nekoverse community to allow professions to exist within Discord. Basically, we already have the artists, the storytellers. They will contribute the concept art, the lore, and even create assets that can be used within the games right in our Discord. And to really kickstart and strengthen the community-driven element, we introduced our own in Discord server currency system that we call Anima Spirit Fragments. By doing so, we can fairly reward everyone that have made contributions, and we also created an unique token offering models for our in-game currencies that we call initial community contribution offerings. So the in short for ICCO. So basically, the ICCO token offering models can convert the currency that our Discord member has in our Discord to our real game currency that they can use later on inside the games. And that is
Awesome.
how we, basically make the Discord buildings and the community building phase a part of the game itself.
Cool. That's so cool. So you're getting people really engaged during this I guess it's like a pre-alpha period where people are able to engage and get
Yeah,
some reward for participating in the community.
yeah. So just recently, we just launched out the core, the main game core lore frameworks, so that our community can take a look and start writing story that will contribute to the lore and developing side quest side lore that would fit in the Nekoverse main themes. So that these kind of activities that are what we can enable the community to start involving, and also fasten the development process and enrich the game content itself.
So what are you most excited about with Nekoverse in the next year? What's got you like super excited?
What is excites us the most is of course, delivering the game itself and allowing our community's members to see their work in actions and see the collective work of the entire community, both our teams and the communities being put out into the market, and people start using their Neko character to join the world and then enjoy their time playing the game itself. And that is what we are very excited about.
Is there anything that you're doing uh, gaming wise that you think is kind of unique to everything the other games that you've seen out there? Something that's like really unique to
Right.
Nekoverse.
So first of all, straight out the gate, our NFT characters is very unique, right? It's a very different vibe of art style because we also want usually with MMORPG titles, you usually see like a medieval or sci-fi or futuristic themes that very geared toward hardcore fantasy players. We take a different approach in terms of the art style, and we want to also attract the mid-core level players since that will provide us with a more broader audience. Those that have been familiar with Pokemon or Genshin Impact can also feel attracted and find their similarity and engagement in the game of Nekoverse itself. And secondly is the openness of the economic structures and the gameplay that the breadth of gameplay that they want to do inside the game itself. The fully customizable player path in terms of characters, professions, the land developments, and also the player-driven economy where players transact directly with each others. And that is our differentiations from other games.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see what people do in the game. That'll be really exciting.
Yeah, me too. There's we already have guilds forming in our Discord, basically sub-DAOs of Nekoverse right now, and they're already strategizing about what kind of guilds they want to be. And one of the guilds called Mighty Era of Viscaria. So they want to be the utility guilds of Nekoverse. They will be in charge of crafting all the items and delivering establishing trade route to other guilds and supplying items to other guilds. And these are the beautiful things that we want to see growing inside the games. Yeah.
Amazing. So, where can people find out more about Nekoverse? Like, what's your Twitter, Discord,
Right.
Instagram, if you have it?
So our Twitter handle is Nekoverse underscore NFTs, and our Discord is discord.gg/Nekoverse. So these are our two main channels, and you can find us there. Our website is nekoverse.net, and we also put up our white paper there. It is a very comprehensive white paper where you can find a lot of information about projects, how we structure the world, and the mechanics of the game itself.
Amazing. All right. Anything I missed? Anything else you want to? Any final thought you want to leave on the audience?
So we are very happy to announce that we are officially partnered with Fractals to host our second NFT offering, which is the Ancient Triad, which contains the next three elements of our Neko characters on Fractals, which will happen on March 6th. And the collaborations, we're very looking forward to that and looking forward to the mint itself.
Yes. Thank you for trusting us. We're really excited about that too. So, March 6th. Do you know what time exactly it is yet? Or
It will be
if not, we'll
yeah,
just put it. Yeah.
it's
What time
going
is
to
it
be
going to
4
be?
p.m. on March 6th, right? Yeah, for UTC.
4 p.m. Okay, 4 p.m. UTC, March 6th. So we'll splash that up there, and we'll see you guys at the Mint. Super excited, and thank you, Leo. Thank you, Tyron, for joining me today
Yeah,
on Fractal
thank
Radio.
you.